Hey everyone, Levi Warner, Levi Polson. Welcome down to the surface. This is my new series. Let's talk about it. I pretty much explain it in the thing, so no need to kind of repeat myself. Let's get into it. Today, I'm trying to start a new section of the show. Basically, kind of like my Let's Talk About It section, where it'll be a little bit more open format, but it will include interviews eventually when we get into that. But it's kind of a general format area where I can kind of like talk more face to face with you guys, just about what's going on in general, some thoughts I have in the tattoo world, and then eventually how I want to kind of evolve this channel into creative people in general. I really want to take this and put it into the realm of what's the relation, how different creative aspects and mediums work and how people work, and how that can be similar. That was kind of like my original concept for this channel when I first conceived of it maybe a year and a half ago, maybe almost 2 years now that I think about it. I was doing some videos with my friends, Not Most People, my friend Tyler and Joe, and was really inspired by a lot of the videos that they were doing, and had some of my own ideas of where I could even push that personally. And so, that's where I initially came up with the idea, but I thought, maybe it's best to initially stick to what I know, which, since I've been tattooing for 20 years, that's where my artistic, foresight is. It's where, I automatically can pull things from. But, I'm an avid art collector and art, I want to take it all in. So whatever that is, art consumer, I guess. And in that, I really do eventually want to talk about, different creative fields, and different people, different mediums of art, and how there's a commonality between how visually successful art is made, or auditorily too. I mean, we could include music into that as well. And then how people work too. I think there's a lot of correlation between that, and I would really like to explore that more. For now, we're going to be keeping the channel pretty much just exclusively tattoo content because, like I said, that's where people know me from. That's where my main interests lie, because I'm just generally interested in the complexity of tattooing. So yeah, in this episode today, I mainly just wanted to talk about kind of where I was coming from, my plans for the channel eventually, and what it kind of means to have this YouTube channel. I'm eternally grateful. I would just like to say I'm eternally grateful for every single one of you that has subscribed to the channel, and even the ones that aren't subscribed and you're just watching. I'm so grateful for you guys too, for taking a look and taking a chance on this new channel. I know, when there's something new, we tend to just go to what we know and what we're already watching and looking at and whatnot. So thank you for taking a chance, and kind of joining me on this journey. It's still just in the beginnings. And I'm hearing all the kind of like feedback that you're all giving. Thanks to everybody who kind of like initially talked about the music being a little too loud. It was something I knew was probably there. I watch my stuff on a television, so when that music comes on, it's not as noticeable as I'm sure a lot of you who maybe are watching on headphones or something like that. So right now, as of future videos, all that music will be quite a bit reduced. And if you have any other feedback, drop it in the comments, or find me on Instagram at Levi Warner and DM me, or DM the channel at Under the Surface TV. And I'd love to hear any feedback you have, any ideas you want to see, people you want to see interviewed, books you want to see covered. I've got a really great new thing coming up. my buddy Sonny is going to be coming on, and once a month we're going to be doing. We're going to start right now with the Tattoo Time series. So we're going to go through those 4 or 5 issues that exist, and taking a look at those. And I'm going to have him kind of go with me as well, because I just think there's something about like that shared kind of community and those discussions that we have like in the tattoo shop, right? Like, or at conventions and stuff. And I feel like a lot of us are missing that right now, because we're not really doing conventions. We're not doing guest spots. We're not even really I know a lot of people aren't at the shops at the same time as a lot of their friends and coworkers. So a lot of those conversations aren't happening. And to some degree, I wanted to kind of create that here on the channel. And so my buddy Sonny's going to come in, and we're going to be starting off by looking at the Tattoo Times. That'll just be we'll cover 1 issue a month for the next 4 months, 5 months. I can't remember if there's 4 or 5 issues. We'll find out soon. And it's just going to be me and him back and forth and kind of talking about our experiences with, when we saw it, when we first experienced that. I know for me, and I'll probably go into in that episode, that was one of my first experiences with seeing like heavily tattooed people. I grew up in a carnival when I was a kid. My mom and dad lived with a traveling carnival for like the first 5 years that I was alive. And so I was already around a lot of like heavily tattooed people. My dad had tattoos, and a bunch of his friends were, pretty heavily tattooed. But to see it at the caliber that I did, that was one of the first places. My dad had an issue or two of the Tattoo Times, and a couple other things like what was it? Outlaw Biker, and then Tattoo Magazine. Once that was around, he had those around the house too, and it's like a really ingrained memory in my head of like sitting at his house, and he would be listening to like White Lion or something like that. It was like some 80s butt rock, and that'd be on, and I'd like be looking through his like Tattoo Mags or his biker magazines, and then I remember seeing like a Tattoo Time in there as well. But yeah, so I'm excited to have that conversational aspect, not only with these videos, but with my friend Sonny and the videos that we'll be doing with him. And then in the interviews that I'll end up doing too. I think those would be really important. I really want to like focus on people that I think are out there like really doing some cool stuff, that maybe don't have the limelight focused on them. Tattooing can be very like insular. I feel I really have been saying this for years, but I feel like there's like the same 100 tattooers that have been talked about in all the magazines, all the videos, all the books for the last 20 years. And to be quite honest, I'm personally just bored with it. There's some people out there, and that I've covered on this channel clearly already in the books, that I feel like obviously, yeah, they need to be talked about. They're an important part to history. But there's a lot of people out there that I think are doing amazing, cool things, and I'm excited to talk to those people. And I can't wait for you guys to see those interviews. And I know as the show grows, more people are going to be able to feel comfortable with coming on. Right now, kind of the problem is like finding tattooers that aren't camera shy, and I feel like most of us are camera shy. But the ones that aren't, those are always the ones that you see in the public eye, in the public forum, right? So I feel like we've seen those voices so many times because they're not afraid to just always be putting themselves in front of the camera. But I'm gonna hope to try and get some of those people that aren't as comfortable putting themselves in front of the camera, because I think it's important to hear from them, because really those people, and it include a lot of us, they're the large majority of us. It's not all just the people that can eloquently speak their mind and their point. I don't feel like I'm one of them. And I know I started a YouTube channel, but you know, there's those people that are that smooth talker. They got the gift of the gab, you know, and they've been out there in the public eye, and rightfully so. You know, if you're gonna put yourself out there, then you're gonna get that attention. So, but anyways, yeah, I can't wait to bring you guys some of that stuff, some new stuff. I hope to integrate a lot of things and like bring you some more of my own perspective on my own tattoos. I know a lot of you have been asking about that. It's kind of a weird thing. Like, I know I'm here analyzing other people's work, and I am very analytical about my own work. There's a lot of the things that I'm talking about that I've put into my own work. But it is always easier to be looking from the outside. You know, like, there's a lot of times I'll nitpick my own work, but oftentimes I think I can't quite see the certain things, my certain failings that I'm sure other people see, because I'm so immersed in it. And so I'm going to try and do that. I'm going to try and attempt to bring that to you guys, and see if I can be a little bit even more analytical about my stuff. I'm usually pretty good about it, but I'm sure that process will make me look at things a little bit even more in depth. I'm gonna try and bring you guys more process videos of my own process, hopefully other artists' process as well. So if there's some people who aren't maybe as apt to do an interview, a video interview, I'm hoping I can get them on board to do like a process video. So they'll just kind of do exactly what I do, where they just kind of shoot top down, and show you like them in the process, a time lapse of a painting or a drawing, or they can talk about their process of drawing, whatever they might think is one of their things that they excel at. And that way I hope I can get kind of a lot more people on board. You know, it's like there might be some people that really want to do interviews. And then there might be some people like, I don't want to do an interview, but I want to do, I'd be down to just show how I draw, you know, say a tiger or something like that. Or you know, a traditional girl head or something. But yeah, so this is kind of this new forum. I've got a couple ideas that for this thing. I really want to make this channel accessible to a lot of different crowds. The person that's not a tattooer, I really want, you know, people to enjoy this, you know, show, whether or not they're a tattooer or not. I would like, you know, the new tattooer, you know, that's kind of what a lot of the process videos are going to be kind of there for. And then, you know, hopefully even the seasoned tattooers, so they can get a new perspective on where the culture's going. And we can kind of hopefully keep a, you know, a pulse on where things are going. Because, you know, not a lot of people want to embrace change, but this thing is constantly changing, and it's going to change, and I think it should change, because that's how anything really grows and expands and becomes the thing that, the new version of something that we really love, you know. We wouldn't have had the leaps and bounds in the 90s and 2000s that we had if it wasn't for a lot of people in the 70s and 80s, and vice versa. You know, they wouldn't have had that for the people in the 40s and 50s that were doing stuff, you know, if it wasn't for the original pioneers of people bringing tattooing to westernized culture. So, you know, we always have to be constantly evolving. We always have to be constantly kind of like looking at things and seeing where the culture is, because it is changing. And if you don't go with that flow, then, I mean, you're just gonna get lost in the dust. Nobody wants to hear some crotchety old person being like, oh, back in my day it was, you know, and like it was better or something like that. It wasn't better, it was just different. And so I really want to have conversations about that. And I'm sure there's going to be some videos where I'll more than likely sound like some crotchety old man, old tattooer, being like, oh, well, this is how you do it. You know, I guarantee that'll probably happen, because I'm still of a generation, right? So I'm sure my thinking to some degree plateaus at a certain point. I like to think of myself as something of a futurist to some degree. I like to always be thinking in the future and where the next thing is going. But I do also recognize that I am very rooted probably in a certain time period, at least with tattooing. And so I guarantee that I'll have some flubs and whatever, and I hope you all hold me accountable to that if I do, because, you know, like I said, that's how we're going to have real change in this community, which I think it needs. That's how we're going to have real conversations. And I think that's how I personally will make the best content to bring you all. And for it to be valid and real and of the moment. So I don't know, that's kind of my initial rant for this first part of this new series of like, I don't know, I think I'm going to call it something like, let's talk about it, or something like that, where it'll either be me talking or me talking to another person, or possibly another person talking about it. That's kind of, I don't know if that's what I'll call it, but it may just be. So yeah, once again, thank you to everyone who subscribes. Thank you to everyone who likes and comments. It means the world to me. I would really, really like to get to 1,000 followers by the end of this month, by the beginning of 2021. So by January 1st would be amazing. That means that we can start monetizing the channel. And when I can monetize a channel, that just allows me to put a little bit more into it, because I'm also getting something out of it, you know, and I hate to, you know, maybe there's some contrary thing to that where it's like people don't want to see that I need something out of it too. But I mean, to be real, in order to take the time it takes the videos, to edit them, you know, to post all the stuff on Instagram and everything and make sure that everybody's seeing it, it does take time and it takes effort. And in order to keep my level of interest in it at a high bar and bring you the best content possible, I do need that monetization. So if you're not following, please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. I look at the analytics almost every day, and we've got almost more than half of the people who watch the videos aren't subscribed. So that means to me, as we have almost 400 followers right now, or subscribers right now, if that other 50% just subscribe today, we would pretty much be at 1,000 already. And I could start bringing you the real deep dives, maybe do more stuff of like the art critiques that we did. I'd love to do more of that, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's time that I'm not spending, you know, working on tattoo stuff or my own other stuff. And I want to do that stuff. I want to bring that to you, but it just takes a little bit more time. So, you know, subscribe to the channel. I can bring you that stuff. I can bring you more deep dives into the books. I would like to go even deeper where, you know, maybe an episode has a follow-up episode, you know, there's a deep dive in it. So like there's a book commentary, but then there's a deep dive into the book. So we take like, say, 5 or 10 tattoos out of each book, and then go into it and go, okay, why is this tattoo working? Why am I so attracted to this image? Because I think that's really what I'm trying to show with this channel, is there's a lot of imagery, there's sounds, there's these textural elements to art, and we don't even necessarily know why we're attracted to them, but we just know viscerally that we are. And so that's really what I want to approach with this, is like, why are we so attracted to it? Because there's a lot of mathematics to it, and real specific reasonings that we don't even realize. There's this guy on YouTube that I watch, Rick Beato, and he's a music producer. And he talks, there was an episode where he's talking about, what is it? It's a Nirvana song. I think he's talking about Heart-Shaped Box in that video. And he's going after, he's like, oh, you can see like Kurt's playing in 7/16 time, and then he switches it up to this, and he's playing these chords, but then he's filling out the rest. He's only playing a power chord, but then he's filling out the rest of the chord structure within his voice. And you know, he goes, did Kurt Cobain know this in 1993 or 4 when he was recording this? Probably not, but he knew that it sounded good. And that spoke so much to me in what I kind of am trying to do with this channel. There's a lot of things artistically that I think a lot of us do, and we don't even necessarily know why we're doing them. And so I think if we analytically look at that and go, oh, there's a reason why this layout always works for a dragon, or this layout really looks good for a traditional rose. And if we kind of break it down into these structures, I think we can really learn a lot more, and we can be consistent in how we're more presenting that to the world. And inevitably, we would bring better tattoos to our customers, and our customers, y'all who aren't tattooers, would get better tattoos. And who doesn't want that? I know I do. So, yeah. There's kind of my long rant for this first one. Thank you all again. Please like the videos. Please comment. Please subscribe. And I can't wait to bring you guys some more content. All right. See y'all.